Hello and welcome to Community Clubs Victoria podcast. I'm John Deeks, and along with the Chief Executive Officer of CCV, Andrew Lloyd, we're visiting with Blake Shang, the CCV Member Care Coordinator. Welcome, Blake.
Thank you, Deeksy. It's good to finally be invited to be on the podcast.
Oh, finally. What, you've been hanging out? Yeah, he has been hanging around, hasn't he?
He has. He listens to all these podcasts in his car, driving around visiting our members.
What inspired you to take a recent course that was very important when it comes to health and safety?
Yeah, well, firstly, I was nominated by Andrew to be our workplace health and safety representative. But more so, my inspiration in enrolling in this course stems from trying to get a better understanding of how clubs can continue to ensure they have a safe working environment, and also for a CCV perspective, that if clubs have any inquiries about occupational health and safety, that I can help with any questions that they may have.
So for our audience, Blake, just tell us, what is a HSR?
Yeah, of course. So firstly, every person in the workplace has a responsibility to ensure that they follow and adhere to safe work practices. However, a HSR, health and safety representative, is a bit cut above. To be a HSR, you have to either be elected or nominated to represent the health and safety interests of the designated working groups within the organisation.
And you did this course just recently at SIAG, and SIAG is where we've been to have a chat to the team down there. How is the course constructed?
So the course is constructed over 5 days. So I'm currently on day 4 out of 5. The way that it stems is a 9 to 5 across 5 working days.
What sort of things does it cover?
So it covers how to go over the Occupational Health and Safety Act, the Occupational Health and Safety Regulations, and just more so how you can go ahead and tailor your approach to adhere to work-safe practices and communicate that to your employer to ensure that health and safety is being achieved at all levels across an organisation.
I think some people historically have thought, we don't need this, we're only a small organisation. But what our audience needs to understand is that, laws have changed in recent times to do with the criminal responsibilities to do with employers of their staff. Hence why we say to our members, put people through the HSR course with SIAG, one that is comprehensive over those 5 days, so you have an accredited representative within your workplace. Blake, just talk to us about some of the responsibilities of a HSR in a workplace.
Yeah, of course. A HSR has a variety of different powers in the workplace. That stems from, most importantly, representing members of the designated working group in regards to health and safety, monitoring measures made by the employer to comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and the regulations, and also just attempting to resolve any occupational health and safety issues in accordance with the agreed procedure or whatever falls back onto WorkSafe's best practice.
As Member Care Coordinator, do you impart some of this knowledge when you go out to the various clubs that you go to all around Victoria, of course? Do you do training yourself?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I wanted to jump into this course, just so I'm have a better understanding of what entails to be a health and safety representative. But if any clubs inquire about OH&S matters, then I can be that network for them so they can answer their questions.
Yeah, from what you've explained, Blake, feedback from the course, it's a very practical, focused one, because you've done sports management degree previously, and in sports management, was there anything covered of this topic?
Nothing that falls into occupational health and safety, so it was a bit of an eye-opener, and just to see what sort of topics are covered in this course as well.
What were some of the biggest takeaways so far? You're 4 days into a 5 day, but what were some of the big takeaways?
Well, the biggest takeaway for myself heading into this course is talking about how to tailor your communication to your employer. For an example, an organisation that has 50 or so staff members, the health and safety representative could be a operations manager or a duty manager, a supervisor, that can relay the health and safety matters to the employer.
Is there some pushback from the smaller clubs saying, we don't want to have to do something else as well?
Yeah, there's a little bit of pushback.
But doing enough.
But regardless, if you have 50 staff members or one employed staff member, health and safety
duty of care.
Duty of care.
I think from a best practice point of view, we look at these sort of models and say to everybody, the last thing you want is to have some terrible issue happen and somebody injured in your workplace. So the frameworks to do with health and safety and what SIAG do is really important, and we encourage all our members to talk to Blake in the future about their workplace. There's so many things in workplaces. It's not just sports field maintenance, but every club is going to have a deep fat fryer. It's going to have slicers. It's going to have equipment in the kitchen which do represent their own unique issues. I can think back, John, when I worked for McDonald's when I was 16, 17, the way that we actually emptied and cleaned deep fat fryers today is just totally unacceptable. It's different in today's world and it needs to be.
Absolutely. Blake Shang is our guest today. He's the Member Care Coordinator for Community Clubs Victoria. So just moving away slightly from the OH&S course you're doing at SIAG, what else do you do when you get to the clubs? Because you go to all the clubs and there are a lot.
Yes, there's a fair few. I just recently come back from Kooyong Sporting Complex, which is about a 5-hour drive for myself up past Albury-Wodonga. So usually when I go in and see the clubs, it's more so of a catch-up to see how they're doing, if there's anything that CCV can do to help on our end to make their lives that little bit easier, especially giving them a little bit of an update about what other clubs are doing and what they should be on the lookout for.
That's one of the important things in Blake's role is to visit clubs. I know a lot of the regional clubs just delight in seeing our staff because, as Blake said, they're isolated. They really appreciate being able to share information and to keep them up to date with what's happening throughout the industry.
Is there any one or two questions that seem to come up each time you go to a club?
Yeah, it does. Stems to go with retention of staff at the moment, especially when it comes to hospitality, which has just been gutted since COVID. So it's just trying to get hospitality back on the mend and just trying to continue to be that community hub that beacons the community.
That's a great point, John. I think that leads into we're interviewing Jackie Booth. Jackie Booth's been working with us doing some leadership fundamentals training courses, a 2-day session to help people upskill going into supervisory and management roles. We've talked before about just the difference in the TAFE sector and people telling us that they are disappointed with the offerings at TAFE presently that's not tailored enough for the industry to prepare people for the vocational journey going to work. So we look forward to chatting with Jackie in the future.
And especially now more than ever, I feel coming out from CCV, recently joining in a little over 2 years ago now, I look at the managers and there's so many different hats that you have to wear and different responsibilities they need to take up. So you need to rely on your staff to carry that burden and carry the load. So if there's anything that we can do on our end to help improve the hospitality sector, then yeah, we're all in for it.
So what's your takeaway message now as the Member Care Coordinator?
If any clubs just want to go ahead and have a chat, just a bit of a catch-up, or just want any issues that they want raised that CCV can go ahead and address, by all means, feel free to contact either myself or the team at CCV, or even if you just want to pencil in a date for myself or any one of us to come out and see you, by all means, just feel free to give us a bell.
Well, Blake, thank you so much for giving up your time today. We certainly do appreciate it, and good luck and safe travels on the road. And keep spreading the good OH&S message across our clubs.
Will do. Cheers, Dixie.
And to learn more of how CCV is working for you and your club, simply visit the ccv.net.au website. And I hope you'll join CEO Andrew Lloyd and myself for our next podcast. Thanks for listening.